Okay, so in class today, you're going to be working on one of two videos, and when you finish, you'll switch over to the other video. We're basically just doing review of what we have done in a little bit different way, where you're going to do the practice problems on the paper, and I will provide the problems for you and then show you the correct answer after to make sure you're doing it correctly. It's very important that you go through and actually do the problem yourself, not just rely on the video to show you the answer. And if you run into trouble, then ask someone in the classroom to get you some guidance. But the biggest thing is I will explain each one, so just continue to listen and follow through the steps, and I try to explain it sometimes in a little bit different way. This video is on graphing. Like I said, you're supposed to start this off by picking whichever one you think would be an easier one for you to do, and see if you can do it on your own, and then do the other one afterwards as sort of an extra bit of help. So first problem is an example in your notes. It says write the equation of the line with slope 3 and through the point 5, 6. So we're going to go very step by step with what we're going to do here. First of all, we can go ahead and write the 3 in as our slope. So you should take a second to do that. Alright, now you have your graph paper. If you're doing the right one, you're on the side that has all the graphing stuff. So what we're going to do is the step one every single time is we're going to plot the point. So you can see it's already on your paper. I've plotted the point 5, 6, and I've labeled it on your notes sheet. Okay, step one is plot the point they give you. Step two is plot the next point using the slope. Slope is 3, which means I'm going to go up 3, and then I'm going to go over 1, and that's my next point to plot. So make sure that you do this every time. Again, this example is worked out for you on the paper, so that makes it pretty straightforward, but I want to make sure you guys understand each step. Okay, and step 3 is you're going to repeat until it hits the y-axis. So all that means is I'm going to keep going with the slope, keeping that line straight. When it hits the y-axis, bam, there it is. Wherever it hits the y-axis, that is my y-intercept, and I'm done. So I'm repeating the process over and over again until I hit the y-axis. At that point, I can draw my straight line, and I record the place that it crosses as my y-intercept. Okay, so you can see everything's the same on this. You don't have to write down the step 1, step 2, step 3. That's on the presentation to help you remember your steps. What I want you guys to do is go through those steps. So for problem number 2, on your paper, you can see all I gave you was slope equals, and then I gave you through the point. And so what I want you to do is on the point, write down where it says for problem number 1, slope, where it's blank, put a 5, and through the point 1, -1. You need to write that down. A lot of people were waiting until they solved it and then writing the wrong things. So that point is going in the blank space for the point, and the slope goes in that spot. So what I want you guys to do is pause the video, do as much as you can. Remember, follow those 3 steps. Plot the point given, plot the next point using the slope, doing rise over run, and then after you feel comfortable with that, repeat the process. So if you're only comfortable with the first step, then go ahead and check and make sure that's right. Then you can watch the second step, and by the time we get to the 8th problem and we're finishing, we should hopefully be able to have this be easier for you. So take a second, pause the video, try to do as much as you can of it, and then check back. Alright, so here we go. The first point that we're going to plot is 1, -1, which is right there. Over 1, down 1. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plot my slope. Up 5, over 1. Okay, next I'm going to keep plotting those points until I get my line. Once I get my line, I'm going to look for where the y-intercept is. In this case, it hits at -6. So my answer is -6. Okay, so let's go on to the second example. Again, you're going to plot it, try to do as much of it as you possibly can, and then I'm going to come back and go through all the steps, and you can definitely pause it then as well if you want to try to finish the problem. Alright, so here we go. We're going to start off with by the first part, which says plot the given point. So the given point is -3, 8. Okay, so we're going to move on to problem number 2. So pause the video, go through those 3 steps, see if you can get an answer where it hits the y-axis, and hit play when you're ready to go over it and check it. Alright, so we know our slope is negative 2, so we can put that in there. We're going to start with our first point, which is at negative 3 comma 8. From there, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plot my next point up to left 1. And once I feel comfortable with that, repeat the process. Again, I'm paying attention where to hit the y-axis. Hits right there at 2, which means my equation of the line is negative 2x plus 2. That 2 is coming straight from the graph. Alright, number 3. This time the slope is negative 4 through the point negative 2 comma 0. So take your time, pause the video, make sure you get it right, hit play when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the problem. Write the equation of the line with slope negative 4 to the point negative 2 comma 0. Make sure you write this in the correct spot with the number 3, and go ahead and pause the video while you do the problem. Okay, now that you're ready, we're going to go ahead and start with our slope of negative 4. Our point that we're going to start with is negative 2 comma 0. We're going to do our up 4 left 1 for our slope, and we're going to repeat that all the way across the problem. Now you'll notice that my y-intercept here is at negative 8, so my answer is negative 4x plus negative 8, or negative 4x minus 8. Alright, here's number 4. Write the equation line with slope 1 through the point negative 1 comma 6. Go ahead and hit pause while you try out the problem. Hit play when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to start off with our slope of 1. If you want to leave it blank, it means the same thing. We're going to start with our first point, which is negative 1 comma positive 6. Slope of 1 means up 1, right 1. So we're going to plot our next point, which happens to be the y-intercept at 7. And we're going to repeat that all the way across our graph paper. Alright, so as you can see, it crosses at 7. So our y-intercept is 7. Alright, problem number 5. Copy down the information to the appropriate spots. Go ahead and get started. Okay, we know our slope is 2. We're going to start at a point negative 3 comma negative 3, and we're going to go up 2 over 1 for our slope. After you do that, repeat it, and as soon as you hit the y-intercept, you know you've got your answer. As you can see, it hit at positive 3, which means my equation is y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, example number 6. Write the equation of the line with slope 1/2 through the point 4 comma 4. Alright, so we're going to start with our slope of 1/2. We know that one for sure. Next, we're going to start by plotting our point at 4 comma 4. Slope of 1/2 means up 1 over 2. And I can go ahead and repeat that. What again I'm looking for is for it to hit the y-axis, which it does right there. So my y-intercept is 2. And the problem is done. Okay, let's move on to the second problem. Next problem. Write the equation of the line with slope 1/3 to the point negative 9 comma negative 7. Alright, so hopefully you knew that 1/3 is going to go in front of the x because that's our slope. Okay, so problem number 7. Write the equation of the line with slope 1/3 to the point negative 9 comma negative 7. Alright, so we know the slope is 1/3 in front of x. We're going to plot our point at negative 9 comma negative 7, and the slope of 1/3 means up 1 over 3. Okay, repeating that process. you're going to see the y-intercept is there at -4. And that means that's our y-intercept. Okay, the last one to try on here. Write the equation of the line with slope -1/2 through the point -6, 2. Alright, so starting off with -1/2, we're going to go ahead and start with our first point at -6, 2. A -1/2 slope means up 1 and left 2 to make a downhill line. And we can repeat that process until we hit the y-axis like there at -1. And that's it. That means our y-intercept is at -1. And we get the problem done. So again, if this is the first video you watched because you thought this was easier, that's good. Hopefully you got all the examples correct. And you can move on to the back and see where you can help there, being that it's done the algebraic way.